Before we rank the best and worst sunglasses brands, you need to understand how the industry actually works. Two giant companies, EssilorLuxottica and Kering Eyewear, control most luxury eyewear brands, from Gucci and Prada to Chanel and Versace. The shocking part? Markups can reach 1,000%, while lenses cost barely over $1 to make. In many cases, you're paying mainly for the logo, not better quality. Let's start with the brands you should never buy. Ray-Ban used to mean something. In 1999, the brand was rescued from bankruptcy by Luxottica, and what followed was 2.5 decades of slow, steady decline that the brand's loyal customer base still hasn't fully accepted. On Reddit, there's a thread titled, "Why do my $200 Ray-Bans feel so cheap?" And the answers are brutal. Sunglasses enthusiasts write that Ray-Ban has been standing still for 25 years, and that Luxottica has stripped the brand down to the point where using the name should be illegal. The lens quality, once genuinely above average, is now standard polycarbonate. Not better than a $15 Amazon pair, just more expensive. Here's what that actually means in practice. Ray-Ban's UV filtering stops at 400 nanometers, the industry minimum. Premium brands like Maui Jim filter beyond that, with technology actually embedded in the lens itself, rather than applied as a coating that wears off over time. You are not getting better eye protection, you're getting a logo. And the frames? Traditional steel and acetate, the same materials used in sunglasses at a fraction of the price. The worst part isn't the quality, it's that Ray-Ban is the most counterfeited sunglasses brand in the world. The monogram is so ubiquitous that carrying a real pair no longer signals what you're paying for. You spent $200 to look like a $20 gas station purchase. Ray-Ban proves that heritage alone is no longer enough. But if you think paying more automatically fixes the problem, the next brand is where the logo tax becomes almost impossible to justify. Gucci sunglasses retail for $300 to $600. They are produced by Kering Eyewear. The frames are acetate, the hinges are standard, and the lenses have no proprietary technology. What you are buying, the only thing separating this from a $40 alternative, is the GG logo on the temple. Reddit is unambiguous on this. A user who sells luxury goods for a living put it directly, "Honestly, unless you really love the design and you can't find anything else similar anywhere, I wouldn't say they are worth it." Another user described how her $500 Gucci pair showed polarization, filter delamination after 1 month, and Kering refused to replace them. And then there's the production story that Kering would prefer you didn't know. The company was sued for labeling Chinese manufactured frames as made in Italy. When you are paying $500 partly for the perceived craftsmanship of Italian production, discovering that claim is legally disputed changes the entire calculation. The Gucci brand itself is in free fall in 2025. Revenues down 21% in 2024. Parent company Kering's share value nearly halved. They've cycled through creative directors and are now rebuilding from scratch. The product you're buying is attached to a brand in active identity crisis. That is not a $500 value proposition. Gucci charges luxury prices for mass-produced eyewear. But the next brand takes a completely different approach, selling trendiness itself as the product. Balenciaga sunglasses are the aspirational pick of the moment. Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, every influencer with a black outfit and a rooftop. Prices start at $350 and go well above $450. Here's the problem with a brand that is defined entirely by trend. Trends end. The Swift frames and Xpander wraparounds that look aggressively current in 2025 will look like a Halloween costume by 2027. That is not an opinion. That is the documented life cycle of trend-driven luxury eyewear, and Balenciaga builds its entire visual identity around it by design. The build quality doesn't justify the risk. Trustpilot reviews consistently flag the product as not worth the price and highly priced but not durable, more plastic feeling than other brands in the same range. Kering Eyewear produces these frames with the same infrastructure as the rest of the portfolio, so you are not getting manufacturing that matches the retail price. The final problem is the dupe market. Balenciaga's silhouettes are now so widely replicated that the exclusivity argument, the only reason to spend $400 on a trend piece, has essentially collapsed. Nobody can tell. The one justification for the price no longer holds. Balenciaga's problem is that the trends won't last. Versace has the opposite issue. The branding has lasted forever, but the value behind it never really changed. Versace is one of the most straightforward examples of logo pricing in the entire fashion industry. And the numbers are the whole story. Estimated production cost for a Versace frame: $5 for the lenses, $10 for the frame. Retail price: $250 to $600. That is a markup of between 15 and 30 times the cost of production. And these are not proprietary materials. They are not exclusive processes. A viral video demonstrated that Versace frames are produced in the same Luxottica factories as Chanel, Burberry, Prada, and Armani, at identical material costs. The Medusa logo is the only differentiator, not lens technology, not frame innovation, not durability, not heritage manufacturing, not a warranty program worth mentioning. Just a logo stamped on a frame that costs $15 to build. And unlike some luxury goods that hold resale value, Cartier, Rolex, even some handbag brands, Versace sunglasses have essentially zero secondary market performance. Whatever you paid, you will not recover it. The markup exists entirely for Versace's benefit, not yours. Versace is loud luxury at loud prices. The next brand built its entire identity around subtlety. But the economics behind the product are surprisingly similar. Celine has become the defining status item for women chasing an old money aesthetic. The Triomphe frames in particular have become a shorthand for a certain kind of refined taste. Prices run $300 to $600. The uncomfortable truth: Celine frames are produced by Kering Eyewear, the same company sued for false Made in Italy labeling. A detailed review on Celine Eyewear is direct. They don't hold their value at all. The secondary market for Celine sunglasses is thin. The investment narrative, the idea that a luxury pair is worth it because it holds value, is a myth with this brand specifically. What you're actually buying is premium acetate, the same material Bottega Veneta and other Kering brands use, at the same or lower prices with better resale trajectories. And the Triomphe silhouette has been duplicated so aggressively across the market that the exclusivity signal the brand once carried has been heavily diluted. At this point, the consumer carrying a $400 pair and the consumer carrying a $30 dupe are sending the same visual message. Paying for quiet luxury that isn't actually exclusive anymore, made by a company with documented labeling violations, with no resale value to fall back on. That's not a smart investment by any metric. So if all of those brands are charging huge markups for logos, hype, or trends, what does a genuinely good luxury sunglasses brand actually look like? This is where things finally get interesting. If there is one brand on this entire list that represents a genuine, defensible transfer of value, real technology that actually protects your eyes better, it's Maui Jim. And the fact that most people put it in the same category as Ray-Ban and Oakley is the whole marketing failure this video exists to correct. Maui Jim was founded in 1980 in Hawaii by a passionate sailor who wanted to eliminate the blinding glare of the ocean. The result was Polarized Plus 2 technology, a patented system that doesn't just block UV, it actively enhances color contrast and visual sharpness. The UV filtering is embedded directly in the lens material, not applied as a surface coating that wears off. And the filtering extends to higher nanometer values than standard UV 400 sunglasses, meaning your eyes are actually receiving meaningfully better protection. The community that sells and evaluates luxury eyewear is unanimous. Get a sunglasses brand like Maui Jim. Designer brands are generally overpriced for less quality. Optometrists, the people who study eye health professionally, consistently recommend Maui Jim over designer competitors in the same price range. Users describe the visual experience as Ultra HD. Reviews from outdoor enthusiasts after years of daily use hold up across thousands of ratings. Prices run $200 to $350. The warranty program is robust. This is the rare case where you are paying more and receiving more. Maui Jim proves that real technology and real eye protection still exist in this industry. But what if you want something luxurious too, without feeling like you paid purely for a logo? Everything I said about Gucci, Celine, and Balenciaga being produced by Kering Eyewear with inflated logo markups? Bottega Veneta is the exception inside that same portfolio, and understanding why tells you everything about what actually makes luxury eyewear worth buying. Bottega Veneta doesn't put its name on the frame. There is no visible logo anywhere. The recognition comes entirely from the quality of the acetate, the weight of the frame, the geometry of the design, things you only notice because they're exceptional, not because they're labeled. Creative director Mathieu Blazy has built a philosophy of beauty in shape and form over anything else, and that philosophy shows up in the product. Independent review communities that evaluate luxury goods consistently describe Bottega frames as having impeccable quality that holds up even with heavy use. The design language is genuinely timeless, not trend-dependent in the way Balenciaga is, not logo-dependent in the way Gucci is. In 5 years, a Bottega frame will look like a beautiful object. A Gucci frame from the same year will look like an artifact from a specific cultural moment. The secondary market reflects this. Bottega Veneta eyewear holds higher resale value than Celine or Gucci equivalents. When quality is the actual differentiator, value follows. Bottega Veneta gets luxury right through restraint and craftsmanship. The next brand does something even harder. It makes understatement feel iconic. Oliver Peoples was founded in West Hollywood in 1987, and it has spent nearly 4 decades building one of the most quietly prestigious cult followings in American fashion. Jennifer Aniston wears the OPX Brunello Cucinelli line. The brand's fan base in the entertainment industry is not paid placement. It is genuine preference from people with access to any eyewear they want. Oliver Peoples is technically a Luxottica brand, which means it lives under the same corporate umbrella as Ray-Ban. But unlike Ray-Ban, Oliver Peoples has maintained its quality standard through that ownership. Users describe frames lasting 8 to 9 years with daily wear. One reviewer documented falling off a bicycle, bringing the bent frames to an Oliver Peoples store and having them restored to near-new condition without charge. Replacement lenses are available years after purchase. This is what a real ownership experience with a quality product looks like. The design is retro Hollywood, vintage inflected, and, critically, not trend-dependent. These frames look as right in 2025 as they did in 1995, and they will look right in 2035. That timelessness is the thing you're paying for, and at $300 to $600, it's a justifiable investment for a product built to last. One honest caveat: Oliver Peoples' Trustpilot score reflects real customer service issues. Buy through a reputable retailer, not directly through the brand. Oliver Peoples is timeless Hollywood elegance. But the next brand moves beyond eyewear entirely, into the territory of collectible art. Jacques-Marie Mage is a different category entirely. If Maui Jim is worth it because of lens technology and Oliver Peoples because of durability, Jacques-Marie Mage is worth it for the same reason a limited edition watch or a signed print is worth it, as an object made with extreme intention and genuine scarcity. Founded in Los Angeles in 2014 by a French designer determined to rebuild luxury eyewear from first principles, JMM produces frames handmade in Japan through a 300-step manufacturing process. Limited production runs. Some models feature 18-karat gold filigree arms or sterling silver pins. Every pair ships with a leather booklet and bespoke packaging. These are architectural objects, intentionally heavy, visually commanding, and unmistakable without any branding. Prices run $700 to $1,500 or more. Some limited models appreciate in value. The community is honest about what this brand is. For someone who prioritizes style as art over performance, they are worth every cent. These are not for every buyer, but for the consumer who treats eyewear as a collection rather than an accessory. Jacques-Marie Mage is the most intellectually defensible luxury purchase in this entire category. Jacques-Marie Mage treats sunglasses like limited edition sculptures. The final brand on this list takes a different path. Obsessive Japanese craftsmanship with almost no mainstream attention. Matsuda is the answer to the question, what does luxury eyewear actually look like when the price is justified by the process? Founded in Tokyo in 1967 by fashion designer Mitsuhiro Matsuda, the brand produces every frame through 250 or more handcraft steps, requiring up to 71 hours of work and up to 13 individual craftspeople, all based in Sabai, Japan, the country's optical manufacturing capital. The materials are Japanese acetate hardened through a 3-month curing process, titanium, stainless steel, and 18-karat gold. Frames are architectural in design, inspired by Tokyo's built environment, and evolve seasonally without becoming trend-dependent. You will never find Matsuda in a sunglass hut. There is no Instagram campaign, no celebrity deal, no airport retail display. The brand operates entirely on the logic that the product will find its audience. And it does, because the product is genuinely extraordinary. At $500 to $900, Matsuda frames sit below Jacques-Marie Mage in price, but match or exceed in craft. They are built to last generations with proper care. There is zero mainstream oversaturation. This is a genuine insider brand with a legitimate claim to the word luxury that most $400 designer frames cannot make. Which one of these brands were you genuinely surprised by? Drop it in the comments.